Hi guys, good morning. I hope you are able to hear me.
Hi, sir. Good morning. Yes, we
Very
can able to.
very good morning. So in the last session, we have seen how we can write a function inside a function, a nested function, how we can write it that we came across when we implement to get the first name that we have seen. In order to get the first name, we have come across it. Yeah. So first name we have brought it by using left and char index function. So to get the number of characters dynamically, we need to use the char index function. We have to bring the data till the space position -1. So that space position -1 will get only if we use char index function. So that is how we implemented it. Let's go to the next use case. So here I'm having a use case. Write a SQL statement to get the last name. What you have to get? We have to get the last name from username. From username, we have to get it. So now to get the last name, in order to get the characters from the right side, we are going to use a write function. So just observe here, when I write a normal select statement, select from users, and let's connect this first. Connection, connect it. And database name is sales_db. So here I have a user ID and username. So from this username, I wanted to get the last name. From the username, I wanted to get the last name. So to get last name, we have to use the function called write function. So there is a logic here. The total number of characters from the username. If we take a John Yan, if you take this John Yan, we are having total number of characters is, so John is 3 characters, Jon, and space 4, and Yang is 4 characters. So total 8 is there here. Total number of characters here is 8. So that is what I'm saying. Total number of characters from the username. This is total number of characters. Total chars equals to 8. And then minus space position from the username. So what is the space position? The space position here is this one, right? So this is 4. So the space position is 4. So required characters here is required characters for last name. Total number of characters minus space position equals to 4. The required characters for the last name is 4. Now, how many characters are there here? You can say this Yang is having only 4 characters. That is what it is. So this is the logic that you have to implement in the expression. So total number of characters minus space position is number of characters for your last name. Now the question is, how can you get the total number of characters? We know to get the space position, you can use the char index function to get the specific position of the character space. But now how you can get the total number of characters? The total number of characters you can get a function called with a function called len function, length function. We can call this as a length function. Just try to get the length of each and every name, total length of each and every name, comma, len of username, ln of username as total length. Just try to execute this statement and see the result. Now, what is the total length for this John Young? We have 8. For each and every name, it has its own total number of characters for each and every name. So that you can get with the help of ln of username. Minus space position, right? I have to get the space position. Let me take a space position also. We already know about the char index function. I wanted to find the position of the space in the username starting from 1 as space position. From each and every name, what is the space position it is giving? You can see here. So total length minus space position. I'm just going to create one more new column. Just for understanding, I'm doing it. This entire thing is equivalent to this total length. So just take this here minus total length minus space position. Just take this and keep it here as total length minus space position. Now you can see here, if you take this number of characters, these characters are equivalent to the last number of characters. You can see any name that you can take, all this last name characters is equivalent to total length minus space position. So these characters, these numbers, we have to give it to the right function. So we have to give this number of characters to the right function to get the number of characters from the right side. Comma. Now I'm just going to write main function. So this 3, just for understanding, I'm writing, we don't need this 3. So I'm going to write a write function, write username. From username, how many characters we have to bring from the right side is this many number of characters. How you are getting these characters? By using this expression, this entire expression. Let's take a copy and paste it here. And close this write function as last name. Now you can see. So here is the last name. Yang, Hyang, Torres, Zhu, Johnson. So all these names, just cross verify, it is coming as expected. So total length minus space position is the number of characters for your last name by using the write function. Any question here? Any doubt? Okay, so let's see. The same thing I wanted to get with substring function also. I already told you left and right functions will be used to get the characters from left side as well as from the right side. Okay, so left gets characters from left side, right will get the characters from the right side. What if I need a middle of the characters? Or apart from this, you can also use the substring function to get the characters from the right side, to get the characters from the left side, to get the characters in the middle of the text also. So wherever you want to get the text, that you can get with the help of substring function. So that is going to help you to get it. So that is how it is going to work. So now the same thing, I wanted to get the first name and last name by using substring function. So if your data source is a Oracle, then you have to use only substring function. Left and right will not work. Now I'm just going to write a function, write a expression here, select from users. From here, I wanted to take user ID, user name, Now I'm just going to use substring. Substring of, we have to pass from which name you wanted to get the part of the text. I want to get the part of the text from the username. So since it is the first name, we have to get the characters from the starting position. And number of characters is space position minus 1. So space position, to get the space position, you have to use the char index. We know already. I want to find the space in the username starting from 1. This is a space position is going to get minus 1 and close your substring function. So just go through the previous session to see the syntax of the substring function. We have to specify from where we are going to get the characters, from where you are going to get the part of the text. And from that particular place, you need to specify the starting position. Are we going to get it from the position 1? What position you have to specify here? So from there, how many number of characters you wanted to get, that we need to specify. That is space position minus 1 as first name. Now if I execute this, 100% it is going to give the first name. The same substring function I can use to get the last name also. Just observe substring. Same, I wanted to get the part of the text from the username. Now the starting position. Last name starting position is what? After the space. After space it is starting. So space position plus 1. So space position, when I find a space position by using char index, space position will come. But I don't need a characters from the space. I need to move to the next position. So because of that reason, I am trying to take here space position plus 1. So space position that we are going to get with the help of char index function. I want to find the space in username starting from 1, and this is going to give a space position. But I need a characters from space position plus 1. Space position plus 1. So that it is going to start characters right after the space. Comma, total length minus space position. Total length you can get, we already seen, total length is ln of username is going to get the total length minus space position. You can take this expression again and paste it here. So total length minus space position is the number of characters for your last name. Just close your substring function and give the alias name, last name. Let's execute it. Now you can see. Is this clear, guys? Do you have any doubt? This is very, very important for data engineers. Of course, even for BI developers. Okay, so let's move on to the next function. That is concat with separator. WS means with separator. We already seen concat function. Concat function uses to concatenate two or more strings, but without separator. You have to specify what separator you wanted to take it. I mean, for every text you need, for every combination you have to give a separator if it is a concat function. But if you go with concat underscore ws, we can pass a common separator for the text, or we can also call it as a delimiter. And then you can have a text1 comma text2 comma text3 comma and so on. So it is used to concatenate two or more strings. This concat underscore ws is used to concatenate two or more strings with common separator. With common separator, we are going to do it. Write a SQL code to show full name by concatenating first name and last name. So just observe how I'm going to do it. let me execute this. So now date it is pointing to the contest or retail DW. Select from a dim customer. From here, I'm just going to take first name. From here, I'm going to take last name. If I take a concat function, first name, comma last name, as full name 1. If I execute this, it will not get the separator. No separator is there. To get the separator, you have to give a space in between them. So space is also is one of the text. Now you're going to see a space between your first name and last name. But I don't want to go with the concat function. I want to go with concat underscore ws with separator. Separator, I wanted to take space. Text 1 is first name, text 2 is last name. Whatever the number of text that we are going to take, for every text it is going to take separator is space separator. Full name 2. So this is a common separator. As many number of texts as you are having, for everything, this is the separator for every text. Let's execute. Now you can see the result here. The same approach that I'm going to do it when you have a first name, middle name, last name. Write a SQL code to get the full name. By using all these three names, I wanted to do it. Then how you are going to handle it? Select from dim customer. From here, I'm taking a first name, last name. So different approaches I'm going to show you. With concat underscore ws, I'll show you. Concat underscore ws. Separator is star and first name, middle name, and last name as full name 1. Just execute and see the result. Middle name also I'm just going to display here so that it is easy to understand. Now you can see. So John Young V. Let me keep it here. Now let's re-execute again and see the result. Now if you observe here, John V. Young. When you combine all these three names, I'm able to say John V. Young. Now Christy Joe, Christy Joe. So middle name is null. So that means this concat underscore ws is not only having a common separator, it is also handling if any of the column value or any of this column value is having a null, it is not going to take, it's not going to consider. So that is how it is simply it is getting. So we have written last time case statement in order to handle this kind of situation. Just observe. If I use only concat function, first name, then separator is star, middle name, then separator is star, and last name as full name too. We talked about this concat function already. You can see it. This is right, but this is wrong because there are two stars are there here. To handle that, we need to go with the case statement. To handle that, we need to go to the case statement. Case when middle name is null. Then your full name is concat underscore, sorry, concat of first name star last name. Else, all these three characters, three names. If you remember, we have seen this in the previous session, if I'm correct. So here I'm going to say end as full name 3. In the full name 3, you can see the correct answer. Christie Zoo and Christie Zoo. So this is correct answer and this is correct answer. So you can decide how you can use it. Do you want to go with concat underscore ws or do you want to go with the case statement? It's up to you. Okay, so whatever you feel easy that you can take it. So both is going to give the correct answer. Write a SQL code to get full name by concatenating all these three names. Use the case statement. Yeah, of course. So I have given here itself. So you don't need to write it again. So with case statement, I'm just writing here. Here itself, I have added it. Okay. So just try from your side. This is the exercise for you. Write a SQL statement to get the alias. So alias is when you take the first record, John 24 is alias. And adventureworks.com is the domain. So I need to get this as a alias and this as a domain. So this is also a part of string and this is also is a part of the string. So use the substring function and try to get the values for this. Any question, guys, up to here?
No, sir.
Okay. The next function is replace function. So replace function also is very important in many places. Replace is used to replace a text with a specified text. So I'm going to take a text and find that text in the text. Okay, so you have to specify text and find the text. And if that is found, then I wanted to replace that particular text. Write a SQL statement to replace space with the star. So wherever there is a star, wherever there is a space, I wanted to replace it. So that is in the sales underscore DB, I have a username that we know it. Select from users. From here, I wanted to take user ID, username. When you see this result, you have a full name here. So in place of this space, I wanted to have a star, comma, replace. username, and I wanted to find space. If it is found, I wanted to replace with the star as replace with star. Now you can see here. So here when I have a space, when you see here, I'm having a star in all these places. And write a SQL statement to replace A with at. Same. So wherever there is a, I wanted to keep at. I wanted to keep at. Select from users. From here, I wanted to take user ID, username, replace. So I wanted to replace username and I wanted to find a, replace with at, and close this as replace with at. Let's say at. Now you can see here. So wherever there is a, it is replacing with at. Write a SQL statement to find the number of characters from the text without a characters. Simple. So here I'm just trying to say I have a basket. Excluding a's, how many number of characters are there? So if I exclude a, if I exclude a, you're going to get the output like this. BHSKR. How many number of characters are there? 5 are there here. Total 7. And if I exclude this a, then I need to get the 5. How can you do it? So in order to do this, select Bhaskar as name, and then I wanted to replace a, replace of, I wanted to replace, I wanted to find a, and I wanted to replace with no space and close this as replace name. Just observe. I'm sorry. So you can see here what value you are getting by using the replacing a with no space. For this, I wanted to see the number of characters, comma. The same thing I'm taking here. The length I need to get the total length of these characters. So in front of this function, we have to write one more function called alien function and close this as alien of replace name. Now, if I execute this, you can see the 5. This is one of the interview question. Very important. They will ask you this kind of questions. Now, if I wanted to apply the same thing for the table, for user table, let's take a users table, select from users, let's take a user ID, username, now I wanted to replace A with no space, replace of username, find A and no space, replace with no space, as replace username. Let's execute up to here. For each and every place, it is going to take out. If you see here, if A is found, then it is going to replace it. If A is not there, then it is not going to replace. So now here, I wanted to say the next is, I wanted to find the total length of this, comma, just take this entire thing, ln of replace username and close this as ln of replace username. Let's execute it. Now you can see here. If I take out the A, then how many number of characters are there that I wanted to see it? Okay. So they will ask this kind of questions to write a SQL code. You have to understand how you can do it. The next functions is trim, ltrim, and rtrim. These functions will be used to remove the trailing and leading spaces. So if you want to remove the space, only space will be trimmed. So it is used to trim from starting of the text and ending of the text. Trailing and leading spaces will be removed by using the trim function. And we have a ltrim. If you want to remove the spaces from the starting of the text, then you can go for ltrim. And we have a rtrim to remove the spaces from the right side at the end of the text. So given some example here, you can just go through that. It is very simple syntax in order to go. Okay, so it's very simple function. Basically, I came across to use this trim function to remove trailing and leading spaces. When I'm using this particular, if I'm using any text column in the joins. So we are going to talk about the joins very soon. So when you have a joins, if someone is saying data is not matching, then there may be issue with the spaces. So you have to check that by using this trim function. So after applying trim, if the data is coming in, then the problem is with the space. So just go through this, you can understand it. And the next set of functions is date functions. Date functions are used to deal with the date and time. To deal with the text, we have a text functions. To deal with the numbers, we have a number functions. The same way to deal with the date and time, we have a date and time functions. But date functions are very important than your time functions. They're very, very important because every transaction is going to take place at some point of time along with the date. So because of that reason, we required date and time is very, very important. So there are few functions are there that I'm going to take you through. One of the function that is very, very important, everyone is going to come across that is get date. So get date is used to get the current date and time. If you want to get the current date and time, then we are going to use the function called get date. So just observe how exactly it is going to be there when you go for get date. Let me remove the code. Just give me a minute. Okay. So I wanted to write a SQL code here. I wanted to write a SQL code to get the current date and time. To get the current date and time, I wanted to write a SQL code. Select. So to get the current date and time, we are going to use the function called getDate as current date and time. Let's execute this statement. Now you can see here, current date is there and current time is there. So current date and time you can get with the help of getDate function in SQL Server. In Oracle, we have a sysdate. So there may be slight difference, but once you know in one place, then understanding in other places is very, very easy. Write a SQL code to get the previous day. This is current date and time. What about the previous date and time? I mean to say previous day. Our current date is this. This is current date and previous day means current date plus 1. Current date plus 1. Current date is get date plus 1 as current date plus 1. Current date plus 1. Just execute and see the result. You can see it. This is a current date and time and this is current date and time plus 1. So what is the day here? 03. So 03 plus 1, 04. So next day it is showing. It is showing next day. So I wanted to say here next day. And if you want to get not next day, it is a previous day. So previous day means minus 1. Let's execute it. Now you can see previous day means 03 minus 1 is 02. So previous day that we can get with current date minus 1. Next day means it is quite opposite to this. So when there is a false, when there is a minus 1, in place of minus 1, I'm going to make this as a plus. I wanted to add 1 month. I wanted to see 1 month. Okay, so we cannot add directly 1 month to the date. So when I say date plus 1, it is always going to, this particular part is always going to be a day number. This is a day number. So one day we are adding to the date. This one will never represent month, will never represent year, will never represent quarter. This one is always going to be represent a day number. When you have a date plus 1 means that is only day number. If I say 10 days are going to be added to the date. So that you need to keep in mind. So that is about your get date function. The next function we are going to have is year. I want to get the year from the date. Always you are going to, if you take this date, this 2025 is the year. I want to get that particular part only. Then you can use the function called year of date. It is used to get 4 digits of the year. We are going to get 4 digits of the year. Write a SQL statement to get current year. Current year I wanted to get. Then select get date as current date. And current year I wanted to get, right? So year of. Then this year function is expecting a date column or date. So here I wanted to get it for only current date. So if it is current date, you have to pass inside this year function is get date. And close the year function as current year. Let's execute it and see the result. I'm having year 2025, then separately we are getting it. We are getting part of this date. The part of the date is year. In the same way, if you want to get the month from this date, we have a function called month function. We have a function called month function, month of date. This is also is very important function. It is used to get month in the form of numbers from 1 to 12. So this month function is always going to return the numbers from 1 to 12 because months will be there from 1 to 12. So I wanted to write a SQL statement to get the current date and current month number. Okay, so here write a SQL statement to get current month. So select get date as current date, month of. Here I'm just going to pass get date as current month. So what is the current month now? It is a 01. Basically, it's going to give 1. 1 indicates first month, January. That is the current month. In the same way, we have another part. We have seen year, we have seen 1, and this day number, I'm having it here. Day number 03. Right? So I want to get a day number. To get the day number, we have to use the function called day. It is used to get the day number from 1 to 31. 1 to 31, you're going to get it. Now, I wanted to write a SQL statement to get the current day number. Select get date as current date and day of get date as current day NBR. All are numbers only. So 3 is coming. So we have seen how we can get part of the date. If you want to get the year, we can use the year function. If you want to get the month, we can use month function. If you want to get the day, then we can use the day function in order to get the parts of the date. So we have seen date plus 1 is always going to add a day number to the date. What if my business requirement demands to add 1 month? Or if the business requirement demands to add 1 quarter, then definitely plus is not going to help us. So in order to add other than the day numbers, if you want to add or subtract other than the day numbers, then we need to use the function called date add function. So date add function is used to add and subtract interval to a date. So I'm just passing here interval. What is this interval? I'll tell you. How many numbers you wanted to add or how many numbers you wanted to subtract, that you need to specify here. And date we need to give it. To which date we need to add? Do you want to add it to the current date? Do you want to add it any dates from the transaction table? That date column we need to specify here. So it is used to add or subtract interval to a date. Interval to a date. So to this particular date, either it is going to subtract or add. And the return type of this date add function is always going to be date. Is always going to be date. So write a SQL statement to add 1 month to the current date. Write a SQL statement to add 1 month to the current date. So before doing this, first you need to know about the interval. Let's go a little more up. I specified here. The date add, I have an interval, number and date. So what is this interval? If you want to add a year, then you need to specify year in this format or in this format or in this format. You have to specify. Or if you want to add a quarter, then you can give a quarter like this or like this or like this. So this is for month, day of the year, day, a week, weekday, hour. All those things that I have given here, just go through this particular area, what you wanted to add. So you need to specify what you wanted to add, what interval you wanted to add in the function. Then only it is going to work. Select get date as current date. Write a SQL statement to add 1 month to the current date. We have to add 1 month. If you add get date plus 1 is not going to give the answer to you. Get date plus 1 is going to give current day plus 1. You can see at 04. I'm not expecting. I'm expecting same day number, but month number is 02. So to get that one, we have to use the function called date add function. A date add. So in the date add, you have to specify interval. What do you want to add? I want to add month. Then specify the month. I want to add year. Then specify the year. Or you can also specify 4 wise. It's up to you. So I'm just going to give year. And then number, how many, sorry, not year, it is month. How many months you wanted to add? I want to add 1 month. To which I wanted to add this 1 month to the current date, get date. As current date plus 1 month. Current date plus 1 month. Let's execute it. Now you can see here. 01 is there and here 02 is there. What if I need current month minus 1? I mean to say, I want to go back 1 month. Write a SQL statement. Write a SQL statement to subtract 1 month to the current date. So in order to do this, what you have to do is just take the same thing. Current date minus 1 month. But here we have to specify -1. So if you want to subtract something from the date, then you have to pass a negative number. If you want to add something, then you have to pass positive number. That is the only difference between subtract and addition. So here my requirement is demanding to subtract 1 month from the current date. So I'm passing -1. Let's execute this. Now you can see. Now it is having 0, 1. -1 means December. Last month is December. And here also you can see 2024. So automatically it is going to handle it. So we don't need to worry about it. So how many months you want to go forward, how many months you want to go backward, you can specify by using positive number or negative number. And let me talk about this date diff and we'll wind up the session. Date diff function is used to get the difference between two specified dates. Between the two dates in the form of specified interval. Let's say, for example, we are specifying the start date here and I'm specifying the ending date. Between these two dates, I want to see the difference. The difference in the form of interval. What interval you wanted to take in the form of what you wanted to see the difference between the two dates. So the difference may be in the form of minutes, the difference may be in the form of hours, the difference may be in the form of number of months. It's all depends on your requirement that you need to specify here. So it is used to get the difference between two dates in the specified intervals. So write a SQL statement to get the employee experience in the form of years. I wanted to see how many number of years of experience that they're having it. How many number of years of experience that user is having that I want, employee is having that I wanted to specify. Select from employee. From here, I'm going to specify employee number, employee name, and hire date. So hire date is a date column. Hire date is a date column. So I wanted to see how many years of experience that they're having it. Then what you can do is, I wanted to get difference between two dates. Date diff. Date diff. Interval. I wanted to say in the I wanted to see in the form of years. Then what is the starting date? Starting date means joining date, when he was joined in the company. So that is hire date. And then ending date till today. Joined from joining date till today, what is the experience? Then we need to take get date here. End date is get date. Close this as experience 1. I'm just giving. Let's execute it. Now you are able to see something like this. Basically, there is many things that we can take it consider, like if number of days is less than 15 of the month, then you have to take round down, and if it is greater than that, then we have to take round up. Okay, so I don't want to go into that particular kind of complex. So I wanted to see exactly how many years and months, how much experience that he is having. So if you see that in the form of years, then you can see like this, but the same thing, if I see in the form of months, I can also see the difference in the form of months. Then specify here month. Now if I execute it, you can see the number of months. I wanted to convert this number of months into year. As simple, you can take divide by 12. So divide by 12 is going to convert into years. Let's execute it. So it is showing something different. This is showing something different. So I wanted to see the decimal places also. In the denominator, just keep 12.0. Let's execute it. Now you can see. And I wanted to get a rounding of 1 digit. Then you can take round of. We talked about this round function. Comma, 1 decimal place. Let's execute it. Now you can see 2.1, 2.9, 1.9, 1.8, something like this. Okay, so here my intention is how we can get the difference between the two dates. You can also find the age. Age is going to be based on your birth date, right? So birth date until today. You can just try. You can get your age. That is how we are going to use the date diff function in order to get the difference between the two dates. So rest of the date functions I'll walk you through in the next session, and please spend some time with the SQL to understand this. So if you practice here, when I'm going to talk about the DAX, when I'm going to talk about the DAX in the Power BI, it is going to be very, very, very simple for you. Okay, so as we discussed here, I may not spend a lot of time here. Just keep in mind, because the same thing, same function names will be there. Most of the functions or similar kind of approach will be there even in the DAX. Any question, guys, before stopping?
No, sir.
Okay, then I'm stopping here. We'll see you tomorrow.